Hi, I'm Anissa. I am really excited to take you through a power vinyasa yoga flow today. This form of yoga is a little bit more invigorating. You may break a little bit of a sweat. So I encourage you to modify where you need to. If you need to bring it down a little bit, I will show you some modifications. If you need to take a break, feel free to do that. If you need to towel off, to get some water, totally feel free to take that break if you need it. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off here in child's pose. So what we'll do is we'll take our knees out to the side of our mat and we'll come down with our arms straight ahead of us and get that nice stretch in. And breathe deeply through your nose and out through your nose. At any point throughout the class, if you feel that you do need to take a break, this is the pose that we're going to go into, which is child's pose. This is a great place to kind of rest a little bit, regroup, and then come back to the practice when you're ready. So let's come up onto our hands and knees, and we're going to take some cat-cow. So we're going to dome our back, and then we're going to push it down. Now we're going to come up into downward facing dog. And here in downward facing dog, just like many of the poses that we're going to be going through today, I invite you to make sure that your belly button is being pulled all the way in towards your spine. Take a good stretch here. And then we're going to take our right leg up. And we're going to stack our hips and take a nice bend to the side body. And what we're going to do is, in terms of your eyes, you'll try to kind of look to your right armpit, if you can do that. And breathing the entire time through your nose, out through your nose. And then we'll switch to the other side. Our left leg goes up, our hips are stacked, and looking towards our left armpit. Bring your leg down, back into downward facing dog. And now we'll walk up to our hands, bending, and then grab either elbow, and we're taking ragdoll here. We're going to shake it out a little bit. Nod your head yes. Shake out your head no. Give your body a little shake if you need it there. Just waking everything up. Hands to the ground. Bring them all the way up. And fold. Halfway up. Hands to the ground. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Couple of nice breaths here. Up onto your toes, bend your knees, and now we can walk or hop to our hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, all the way up, and fold. Halfway lift, hands to the ground, take your chest to the ground, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Again, in downward facing dog, making sure, just like in the other poses that we're going into, that your belly button is pulled in towards your spine. Up onto your toes, bend your knees, hop to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, all the way up, and fold. Halfway lift, hands to the ground, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We'll do one more of those. Up onto our toes, bend our knees, feet to your hands, halfway lift, forward fold, extended mountain, fold, halfway lift, hands to the ground, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Again, up onto your toes, bend your knees, take your hands to your feet to your hands, sorry about that. Halfway lift, forward fold. Now we're going to go into chair pose. And with chair pose, we want to make sure that the majority of our weight is really in our heels. You're actually able to lift your toes. And again, keeping in mind, we are keeping our belly button tucked in towards our spine. We're not dumping out like this. We're really pulling it in this way. Couple more breaths. And fold. Halfway lift, hands to the mat, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now take your right leg, bring it forward into warrior one. So the goal here is to get your right leg so that it is parallel to the mat, or as close as you can get to that, while still keeping your hips square to the front. So you're really in this direction. Hands are active, so you're really kind of stretching out those fingers. And again, same cue as always, which is our belly button into our spine. Again, we're not dumping this way, we're pulling it in tight, engaging our core. Couple more breaths. Hands to the mat, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, warrior one. Looking straight ahead. Breathing in deeply. The breath is really important with this type of flow. It really is helping to invigorate us, give us energy to get through the flow. And again, it's in through your nose and out through your nose. Hands to the ground, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. And we're going to go through that flow again, just moving a little bit faster this time. So up on our toes, bend our knees, Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Utkatasana, chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. Hands to the ground. Chest to the ground. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one with your right leg going forward. Hands to the ground. Chest to the ground. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one on the left side. Hands to the ground. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Up onto your toes, bend your knees, hop to your hands, halfway lift, forward fold, Utkatasana, chair pose. Fold, halfway lift, hands to the ground, chest to the ground, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Warrior one on the right side. Hands to the ground, chest to the ground, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Warrior one on the left side. Hands to the ground, chest to the ground, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. A couple of breaths here and we'll do that flow one more time. Up on your toes, bend your knees, hop to your hands, upward facing, halfway lift, forward folds, Utkatasana, chair pose, fold, halfway lift, hands to the ground, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, warrior one, hands to the ground, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right, left foot forward, warrior one, hands to the ground, chest to the ground, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now we're going to take our right leg up. We're going to bend our knee, and you can either stay here in three-legged dog, or we can have some fun and flip over. Couple of breaths here. And here you want to make sure if you flipped your dog, you want to make sure that your toes are facing 12 o'clock. And we flip over back into high plank. And now we're going to spin over into side plank with our left arm up to the sky. Now, if you need to modify here, you can certainly do that by bringing your knee down. Still a really great option. Or we can stay up here in our side plank with both legs really strong, looking at the ceiling, really bringing in this right side all the way up. And spin back over into high plank, and then low plank, upward facing dog, Downward facing dog. Now we're going to take our left leg up and bend our knee, bend our side body really. And again, we can stay here in three-legged dog, or you can flip your dog. Remember to breathe here, makes it a lot easier. We're driving our hips to the ceiling and our toes facing 12 o'clock. And back over into high plank. And now we're going into side plank with our right hand to the ceiling. And again, you can modify by putting your knee down to the ground, or you can stay here in side plank with both legs really strong and straight. Bring your hands down to the mat, high plank, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. This time we're going to take our right leg up. We're going to bring our knee to our nose, right leg back up, knee to our nose, back up, and one more time, knee to our nose, back up, and this time we're going to go into crescent lunge. So we're bringing our right leg all the way through. We're coming up, hands above your head to the ceiling. This left leg is really straight. If you need to modify this one, a great way to do that is to bring the knee down to the ground. You're still getting a really great benefit here. Or you can keep that leg straight. And again, the goal is to keep this right thigh parallel to the mat. Bring your hands to your chest, lean forward. We're going to twist. So bringing your left leg down to your right knee. Again, keeping that back leg, that left leg straight. And again, trying to pull in our belly button to our spine. Now we're going to turn back into warrior two. We're keeping our arms really straight here, and your focus should be on your middle finger, on your right hand. Now we're going to bring that right hand down to the floor, keeping that bend in the front knee, extended side angle. And we're looking up at our left hand towards the ceiling. Okay, bring your hand down to the mat, and we're going to go into high plank, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We're going to take our left leg up, bring our knee to our nose, again up, knee to our nose. Last time, left leg up, knee to our nose, up again, and then all the way through to crescent lunge on the other side. Again, arms are to the ceiling. If you need to modify, you can bring the knee down here, or you can keep it up, making sure the leg is straight, that back leg is straight and firing for you. And again, the right thigh is, or sorry, the left thigh, we're trying to get that parallel to the mat. Bring your hands to your chest, lean forward, and turn. We're twisting here with our elbow locked in there with our knee. Our right leg is still straight, or if you've got the knee down, that's totally fine too that way. And we're twisting. Try to make sure that your stomach isn't dumping down, and instead our belly button is tucked in towards our spine. And hands to the ground, high plank, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We're gonna go onto our toes, bend our knees, and bring our feet to our hands. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to take our 2-piece fingers and we're going to hold our toes, get a nice stretch in there. Shake your head out, yes. Shake it out, no. Shake it out a bit if you need to. The rest of the body. Nice stretch here. Go into extended mountain. And now we're going to move into our standing series. I'm going to just turn over this way so you can see me a bit better. We're going to start off with eagle pose. So we're taking our right leg. We're going to wrap it around our left leg. However you can do that. So you can wrap it around all the way this way. That's amazing. If not, if you can even go like this or down like this. Start where you need to start. So we're going to wrap it around and take our right arm and wrap it underneath our left arm. It's really important here to find one spot in front of you to focus on that will help with your balance. And then just breathe. And I find in particular with these types of poses that we're going to go into next, in particular, if you're kind of you're thinking about other things, your to-do list, things that you've got to do next, and you're not focusing on your practice, that's when you're going to fall out of these poses. So it's really helpful to try to focus on being here right now. Okay, and we're going to switch to the other side. So the left leg over, left arm under. And again, it helps to make sure the same cue as usual, which is your belly button into your spine. It helps to keep your core engaged, and it helps with your balance in all these next moves that we're going to be doing. And on to the other side. Go back. Right leg over, right arm under. And the other side. Left leg over, left arm under, down into your seat. Okay, now we'll move into airplane pose. So what we're going to do is we're taking our right leg and extending it back, and our arms are going to come to the side like an airplane, and we're balancing on our left foot. And instead of pointing your toes on your right foot, try to actually make your feet more engaged. So you're kind of almost trying to step on the wall behind you. And bring your core up, so you're holding onto that core to help you with that balance. Bring that that right leg up as much as you can. And back down. We'll do the other side. Okay, now we're going to move into dancer's pose. So with dancer's pose, again, we are going to, it's another balancing pose. So we're going to take our right leg and our right hand, and we're going to hold onto our foot, and we're holding the inside of our foot, so like where your arch is. And you're going to take your left arm forward, and you're going to kind of bend, like into a dancer's pose. And take it as far as you can go. If you can only do this right now, that's totally fine. If you can stretch out a bit more, go for it. And it's really important here to make sure that your hips are square as possible to the in front of you. So they're square this way. So we're not kind of twisting, it's really square. Okay, we'll move to the other side. Your left hand holding the arch side of your foot, and go for it. Okay, now we'll move into tree pose. So with tree pose, there's a lot of different variations here. So you can bring what we want to get to is bringing our right foot into our left thigh, making sure that at no point are we putting our foot onto our knees. We want to avoid those joints. So if you can get here, amazing. And our positioning of our hands can start here. If you can't do this if you can't get this high up, no problem. You can do towards your foot can be at your shin or even down at your ankle in a kickstand. So you take it where you need to go. So hands at our chest. You can try cactusing your arms if that feels good. Or if you want to take it all the way up, you can certainly do that, looking at the ceiling. And the other side. And grow your tree. If you want to try a back bend, coming back a bit, you can certainly do that. Okay, so now we're going to go back, take one more flow. So we're going to go into high plank, and then low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, leg forward. We're going to move into warrior one, transition to warrior two, and we're going to make this leg straight in the front here and moving into triangle pose. A nice stretch in your side body here. Really trying to open up the chest. And bring yourself up to stand. Pivot your legs to the front, your toes to the front. And then we're going to lean forward. Nice stretch in there. Bring yourself up to stand. We're going to pivot this way, back to looking at your right toes, and we're going to go into pyramid pose and another nice stretch there. Bring your hands down, your chest to the mat, and low plank, high plank, sorry, not high plank, this is upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We bring our left leg forward into warrior one, warrior two, bringing your right leg straight, triangle pose on the other side. Bring yourself up. I'm going to turn around actually. You don't need to turn around, but we'll do one more straddle pose. We're going to turn to the back of our mat. Pyramid pose. Bringing your legs straight. Just another nice stretch here. Bring yourself up to stand. And look back to the front of your mat. High plank, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now we're going to bring our right leg to the front. And we're going to go into pigeon pose. So with pigeon pose, we're stretching out our hips here. The goal is to bring your shin parallel to the mat. In order to help you do that, you might not be able to get there right away, but to help you to get into that positioning, we want to bring our right knee here closer to the outside of our mat. That gives us a little bit more opening. And breathing through it. If it's feeling tight, that's okay. Just breathe through it, through your nose and out through your nose. And then we'll come up and then switch sides. And then we'll come onto our backs, our buns. We'll swing our legs forward and come onto your back. And we'll go into waterfall. So just bringing your legs up, your feet almost like standing on the ceiling, just getting our blood moving a little bit more in a different direction. And then you'll bring your knees to the right side, drop them over. Take your left hand in almost a cactus position or an L-shaped position to the ground. And you're looking towards the left. Your knees are to the right. This is a supine twist. It's a really great twist for the back. You might feel a little crack. That's okay. And then we'll swing to the other side. Knees to the left, looking towards the right. And then coming back to center. And we'll end with Savasana. Many people's favorite pose. So we're just relaxing here, breathing, connecting to your mat. And being thankful to yourself and to your body for giving yourself this time to move through this flow. Whatever brought you here, you're here now, and you've completed your flow for today. Feel feeling grateful that our bodies could do this. And when you're ready, come back into a seated position. Cross your legs. Hands to your heart center. And we bow and we say namaste. Thank you.